You know what's funny, y'all? Pause in the draws. I never thought of Mike Tyson as the smooth type. I always looked at him, it's like, oh, look at that wild beast. Ooh, he looks like, like he eats raw meat. I got some meat for him to eat. Want the effing bird, he said. Then he just twisted the bird's head off and threw it at me, smearing the blood all over my face and shirt. But what kind of pollution was in the air in this area? Why is these kids so aggressive around here? This is crazy. Fight him, Mike, one of my friends urged. Don't be afraid, just fight him. I had always been too scared to fight anyone before. But there used to be an older guy in the neighborhood named Wise who had been a police athletic league boxer. He used to smoke weed with us. And when he'd get high, he would start shadow boxing. I would watch him and he would say, "Come on, let's go." But I would never even slapbox with him. But I remembered his style. So I decided, F it. My friends were shocked. I didn't know what I was doing, but I threw some wild punches and one connected. And Gary went down. Ooh, the making of a monster. I started getting a whole new level of respect on the streets. Instead of, can Mike play with us, people would ask my mother, can Mike Tyson play with us? Other guys would bring their guys around to fight me and they'd bet money on the outcome. Now I had another source of income. They'd come from other neighborhoods. I would win a lot too. Even if I lost, the guys who beat me up would say, F man, you're only 11. That's how everybody started knowing me in Brooklyn. I had a reputation that I would fight anyone, grown men, anybody, but we didn't follow the Marquis of Queensbury's rules in the street. If you kicked someone's ass, it didn't necessarily mean it was over. If he couldn't beat you in a fight, he'd take another route. And sometimes he'd come back with some of his friends and they'd beat me up with bats. I began to exact some revenge for the beatings I had taken from bullies. Yeah, that Flowers got it first. I lived in a tenement building and would rob everybody who lived in my building. They never realized that I was the thief. Some of these people were my mother's friends. They'd cash their welfare checks and maybe buy some liquor. And they would visit my mom, drink some liquor, and have some fun. I'd go into my room and go up the fire escape and break into their apartments and rob everything from their place. Then when the lady would go upstairs, wait a minute, is this nigga saying, pause. Is this ninja saying that the ladies would cash their welfare check, come to his house and have a good time with his mama, not good time now, but, have some fun and talk shiz with his mama while the lady was in his house? He would climb up the fire escape to the unsuspecting victim, the lady in his house having a conversation with his mammy, having fun. He would go to the lady's house, rob her, and then climb back down the fire escape and go to his room like ain't nothing happened? Oh my God. Oh, this nigga is terrible. When the lady would go upstairs, she'd discover it and run back screaming, Lorna, they got everything. They got the baby's food. They got everything. After they left, my mother would come into my room. I know you did something, didn't you, boy? What did you do? I'd say, Mom, it's not me. Look around, because I would take that food and stuff and leave it on the roof, and my friends and I would get it later. How could I have done anything? I was in a room right here. I didn't go anywhere. Well, if you didn't do it, I'll bet you know who did it. You thief. My mother would scream. You're nothing but a thief. I've never stolen nothing in my life. I don't know where you come from, you thief. Oh, God. Can you imagine hearing that shit from your own mother? Wait, pause. Pause in the drawers now. Okay, now you thinking as an adult while you writing this book. That's not crazy for your mama to be like, where the fuck? Where did you come? Where did you get this from? I don't steal shit. I'm a beggar. I'm not a stealer. It's like, I don't understand at this point why Mike is like still, well, he is a Cancer. He is a bit emotional. But goddamn, you is the thief. You acting like you ain't the thief. Mike, you the thief. These are my readers, y'all. So I know the light and the stuff is bouncing off and it's probably throwing you off. My bad, y'all. My bad. I was with my mother one time visiting her friend Via. Via's husband was one of those big money showing off guys. He went to sleep and I took his wallet out of his pocket and took his money. When he woke up, he beat the shiz out of Via because he thought she had stole the money. Everybody in the neighborhood started hating my guts. And if they didn't hate me, they were jealous of me. Even the players. I had nerve. I felt incredible. I didn't care if I grabbed somebody's chain and dragged them down the stairs with their head bouncing boom, boom, boom. Keep in mind, y'all might feel a certain way about Mike Tyson, but this is a child. We do know that Mike Tyson has some special needs with himself. We do know that there are forms of mental illness that has not been diagnosed in him yet. Like, to me, a lot of boys, they have that same thing about them. Like, they're always searching for that rush. Most times when you see dudes in the street, they have some kind of mental incapacity. They may be so book smart, but they struggle with attention hyper deficit disorder or bipolar or some kind of other disorder that they have not gotten diagnosed yet. So just remember, he's not doing this from his heart. He's doing this from the broken place in his mind. Everyone I knew was in the life. Even the guys who had jobs were hustling on the side. They sold dope or were robbing. It was like a cyborg world where the cops were the bad guys and the robbers and the hustlers were the good guys. If you didn't hurt nobody, nobody would have talked to you. You would be labeled as square. If you did bad, you were all right. Somebody bothered you, they'd come fight for you. They'd know you were one of the guys. I was so awesome. All these sleazy, smiley scumbags knew my name. Then things started to escalate. I began to come into intimate contact with the police. Getting shot at in Brownsville was no big deal. You'd be in the alley gambling and some guys would come running in shooting at the other guys. You never knew when the shiz was going to go down. Other gangs would drive through on their motorcycles and boom, boom, boom. They'd take a shot at you. We knew where each crew would hang out, so we knew not to go certain places. But it's something else when the cops started shooting at you. This was like maybe 1982, 83. We don't live... Is it 82? I'll probably say 83. I think I was probably like, 84. Because we didn't yet live on Morton Street yet. My mom had took us to my Aunt Crystal house, who was already living in 640. Okay, my aunt was having a card party. I was like Mom, can I go outside with Mick? It was dark outside, right? And I remember me putting so much effort into picking out this outfit because I wanted to be cool. And baby, Mom, can I go outside? Okay, you with your cousin, go ahead. So it was me and Mick. Was Danny there? Yeah, Danny was there probably. And we were walking through the alley, and all the kids were like, man, they beating up. They was like, man, they beating up Tiger. And I could not grasp it because when they said they, it was the police. I mean, they was wearing his ass out in the alley. You hear me? And the only type of association that I had with the police was Officer Friendly from Holy Redeemer because I was still in private school at the time. And I just couldn't believe it. I was stuck there. I was like, why are they beating him up? The kids started throwing rocks at the police because they were beating up on Tiger. Then the police turned their guns and started shooting at the children. Us. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I was so lost at that time. Now, Tiger got away. He was handcuffed. They were whooping that little boy's ass and he was handcuffed. He was like 16 years old at the time. I mean, they were whooping his ass. I was in complete awe. But those are the things that happen in the hood because, you can't go up there to the counties and beat up on their kids or shoot at their kids. You can't. With all the jostling I did, it's somewhat ironic that my first arrest was over a stolen credit card. These little boys. Mike Tyson, if he couldn't find an adult to go into the stores to buy what they needed, then them dumb motherfuckers would go in there themselves and get it. These little boys is little boys and they walking into Bloomingdale's or Hex or Woody's or whatever it is, buying all these clothes and then handing credit cards to the cashier. Here's the credit card. The lady like, you got a credit card? Is this your mammy's credit card? Can't be. The name says Bill Withers. This can't be your credit card. The name on this credit card says Elon Musk. You don't look like Elon Musk Jr. This ain't your credit card. The hell? So the cashier called, and next minute she come back, cut the credit card up because that is what you used to have to do back in the day, cut credit cards up. You called this particular number for suspicious activity and you would have to cut the credit card up, and before you know it, the police coming through the door. Gotcha, bitch. They took me to the local precinct. My mother didn't have a phone, so they picked her up and brought her to the station. She came in yelling at me and proceeded to beat the shiz out of me right there. By the time I was 12, this started to be a common occurrence. I'd have to go to court for these arrests, but I wasn't going to jail because I was a minor. Once I got into the court system, I had to go to court mandated special ed crazy schools. Special ed was like jail. They kept you locked up until it was time to go home. They'd bus in all the antisocial kids and the effing nuts. You were supposed to do whatever they told you to do, but I'd get up and fight with people, spit in people's faces. They gave us tokens to go back and forth to school, and I'd rob the kids for their tokens and gamble with them. I'd even rob the teachers and come to school the next day wearing the new shiz I bought with their money. I did a lot of bad shiz. They said I was hyperactive, so they started giving me Thorzine. Pause. Didn't I say earlier that a lot of these kids or young boys, when you see that in them, you be like, ooh, that little mother hunter's going to be a problem. But when you see that in them, 9 times out of 10, it's an undiagnosed ADHD concern with the children where they are constantly chasing excitement because their brain does not know how to sit still. The things that Mike Tyson is doing, you cannot charge it to his heart. You got to charge it to that broken place in his mind. They skipped the Ritalin, and went straight to the big T. That's what they gave little bad black mother hunchies in the 70s. Thorzine was a trip. I'd be sitting there looking at something, but I couldn't move. Couldn't do nothing. Did I ever tell y'all about the time that I went on a bad trip and I was laying in the bed and I was lunching? That's why I don't do gummies no more. And because I got, some dogs. I know me. I know that I cannot do gummies and be productive the next day. I know me, okay? Because them gummies be having lasting effects. Hence that time I was laying in the bed next to my wife, and my wife said, "Oh, you just too high. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. You not even gonna try and give me no milk or nothing. Bitch, get out of this bed to go get me some milk. I'm over here dying." I'm telling you, it was crazy. That was a bad trip. I could hear everything, but I was just zonked out. I was a zombie. Wow. A zombie. Besides the zombies and the crazy kids, they sent the criminals to the special ed schools. Now all the criminals from different neighborhoods got to know each other. We'd go to Times Square to jostle, and we'd see all the guys from my school all dressed up in sheepskins and fancy clothes, money in our pockets, doing the same thing. I was in Times Square in 1977 just hanging out when I saw some guys from the old neighborhood in Bed-Stuy. We were talking, and the next thing I knew, one of them snatched the purse of this prostitute. She was furious and threw a cup of hot coffee at my face. The cops started coming towards us, and my friend Bub and I took off. We ran into an XXX rated theater to hide, but the hooker came in shortly after with the cops. Okay, so Mike Tyson in his feelings because he like, wait a minute, why do I gotta get pinched? I mean, I do a lot, but I ain't do this one. He said when they threw him in the back of the police car, the dude who actually stole the prostitute's purse was looking at him like this. Spotsford was a juvenile detention center located in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx. I had heard horror stories about Spotsford people being beaten up by other inmates or by the staff, so I wasn't too thrilled to be going there. They issued me some clothes and gave me a cell by myself, and I went to sleep. In the morning, I was terrified. I had no idea what was going to go down in the place. But when I went to the cafeteria for breakfast, it was like a class reunion. I immediately saw my friend Curtis, the guy that I had robbed the house with, who got clobbered by the owner. Then I started seeing all my old partners. Chill, I said to myself. All your boys are here. That's crazy. That's crazy. You ain't here to play, little boy. After the first time, I was going in and out of Spotsford like it was nothing. Spotsford became like a Times Square for me. During one of my visits there, we were all brought to the assembly room where we watched a movie called The Greatest about Muhammad Ali. When it was over, we all applauded and were shocked when Ali himself walked out onto the stage. He looked larger than life. Right then, I decided I wanted to be great. I didn't know what it was I do, but I decided that I wanted people to look at me like I was on show, the same way they did to Ali. Don't get me wrong, I didn't get out of Spotsford and do a 360. I was still a little sewer rat.